We are living at a time when we are witnessing the world's worst atomic crisis in Fukushima, Japan, the worst marine spill in the history of the oil industry in the Gulf of Mexico, and a dramatic increase in extreme weather events causing natural disasters all over the world. At the same time, there are phenomenal amounts of energy being released into the upper atmosphere by solar storms.
The surprising power of a solar storm, presented by science at NASA. Solar storms are best known for the effect they have on Arctic skies. The aurora borealis is a wonder to behold. Satellites, however, are finding more power up there than meets the human eye. NASA-funded researchers say a flurry of solar storms from March 8th to 10th dumped enough energy in Earth's upper atmosphere to power every residence in New York City for 2 years. Unfortunately, there's no practical way to harness this kind of energy, says Mlinchak. It's so diffuse and out of reach high above the Earth's surface.
Nikola Tesla discovered this energy that fills the upper atmosphere more than 100 years ago and invented a whole system to tap into and harness it. His greatest dream was to provide an infinite, non-toxic, and renewable source of energy freely to everyone on Earth. Tesla was a great scientist, engineer, and inventor, and knew that energy is the life force of our civilization. A great humanitarian as well, he had predicted the current environmental crisis and knew we would need a radical solution. He devoted the last part of his life to providing one, against all odds, and amidst 2 world wars, political corruption, corporate greed, the development of the atomic bomb, and great personal tragedy and loss. Tesla knew that because the Earth has an iron core, it's like a magnet, spinning through space, and this continuous movement creates an unlimited reservoir of natural electricity. He found that the upper atmosphere surrounding the Earth is positively charged, while the surface of the Earth is negatively charged. The tension between these opposing charges also creates an immense amount of energy. He learned through his experiments that this energy is released naturally by lightning discharges, and so he invented a special instrument known as a Tesla coil to produce a form of lightning to harness it. It was during a year spent in Colorado Springs that Tesla created his largest and most powerful coil, called a magnifying transmitter. He built a large mast on the roof of his lab with a copper sphere on top and wired it to the transmitter inside. Tesla sent lightning discharges into the upper atmosphere and succeeded in releasing this vast reservoir of energy and channeling it back to the ground. With this proof of concept, Tesla returned to New York the following year to work on his largest project called Wardenclyffe, an expanded version of his system in Colorado Springs. He constructed an enormous tower with a very large metal dome on top, and below it a system of iron roots that descended deep into the ground. He demonstrated again, but on a much larger scale, the possibility of harnessing this natural, non-toxic, and renewable source of energy with the goal of providing it freely to everyone on Earth. These experiments of Tesla's were so advanced, they weren't understood or accepted by the scientific community at that time. All funding for his projects was withdrawn. His name seemed to disappear from the history books, and since then, all of this visionary work has remained veiled in mystery. In the last few years, a small group of international scientists, philosophers and researchers have been studying Tesla's writings and reproducing his experiments in an effort to make sense of it all. What they have uncovered so far is extraordinary. They have unearthed patents for inventions to stop the radioactive decay of radium, and others that use ozone to cleanse water of all toxins.
Što svaki ovakav tip oscilatora generiše efekte koji su.
They recognize this as the work of a great humanitarian, scientist and inventor who was driven by absolute moral necessity.
Teslina heuristička metoda, način na koji je on shvatao nauku, veoma je umetničkog karaktera.
Najinteresantnije za mene lično iz onoga što je on radio je oblast nehercijanskih talasa.
When Tesla died in his hotel room in New York City in 1943, the FBI seized all of his documents and they were shipped to Serbia, where they ended up in an archive at the Nikola Tesla Museum in Belgrade. There are more than 60,000 scientific documents, which many believe hold the blueprint for a new physics of the 21st century. Tesla's entire archive has recently been inscribed on the Memory of the World Register of UNESCO, an international program to protect documents deemed so valuable they transcend all boundaries of time and culture. Why then is this archive completely inaccessible to most researchers and kept under lock and key? In the earlier part of his life, Nikola Tesla had harnessed the power of Niagara Falls with his invention of our present system of alternating current electricity and many of the motors, generators and transformers that make this system possible, as well as wireless transmission, which became radio, microwave technology, lasers, spark plugs, and the circuits used in televisions and computers. He also has an international unit of magnetic flux density called the Tesla unit, named after him, the highest honor for a scientist, and by the time of his 75th birthday in 1931, he had earned the respect of some of the world's leading scientists, including Albert Einstein and Lord Kelvin. Tesla grew up in the mountains of Croatia, the son of an Orthodox priest. His mother, an extraordinarily gifted inventor herself, taught him to seek all truth in the Bible. It was his strong ethical foundation and humanitarian ideals that inspired all of his discoveries and inventions and motivated him to work in greater harmony with the natural world. At this time now, when we are witnessing so many catastrophic environmental events all over the world, and as the environmental crisis continues to destabilize and threaten all of life on Earth, could this be the turning point, the time when it is absolutely essential to bring to light this new source of infinite energy, to stop the destruction of natural resources, and to render the use of fossil fuels, hydroelectric and nuclear power virtually obsolete? Could Tesla's greatest dream still be alive?